we are going to get into Jimmy Kimmel, who returned to late night last week while we were off, and who in his return monologue denied that he said what he said about Charlie Kirk's assassin, even though what he originally said is, alas, on video. So Kimmel is attempting to gaslight America. That he lied is not in question. So to begin, Mark, I would love you to take a look at the nonverbal gestures here and tell us what Jimmy is really communicating to us in this first clip of Kimmel crying while explaining away his original comments. Here we go.
But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual.
Mark, welcome, and please help us decipher what Jimmy was saying non-verbally versus what he was actually articulating.
Yeah, lovely. Look, there's a big difference between the speech that he did when he got into this trouble and what he's doing here. Listen, the original monologue, very scripted, very confident in the way that he puts it across, and he sticks to the script. I believe at the time when he was saying that, he didn't believe he was going to get into any trouble around this at all. Now, look, people are going to have their judgments about them. Yes and no. Was it good? Was it bad? That's okay. You can have your judgments about that. But based on his body language, originally, I don't think he thought he was going to get himself into hot water around this. Now, when he comes to this apology, what I would say is what we get at the start of this is a lot of lip compressions. That's when the lips go tight together. This is to kind of say, look, I've got some stuff to say about this, but I'm not going to say that, okay? I've got some attitude on this, but I'm going to keep that attitude to myself. There's a lot of head bowing before he goes into this moment that you chose there. That's kind of contrite, maybe humble. Now, you're right, it could be performative. So he's performing the idea of there's stuff I don't want to say. I'm humble. I'm contrite about this. And there's some self-soothing in his hands as well. So there's a whole different concern in this monologue that we're showing here that wasn't in the original monologue. He knows he's in trouble, essentially, and he's trying to get himself out of that trouble. Now, I would say, based on what I heard there, okay, in the wavering of the voice, it's quite honest what's going on there. There is some emotion there. Now, is it emotion because he's apologetic, or is it emotion because he feels that he's wrongly accused? I'm not a mind reader, so I can't get into his head, but certainly there is some real emotion that's happening there. Now, is it the emotion of being caught and annoyed about that and wrongly accused in his mind, or is it the emotion of being truly apologetic? I think that's for viewers to decide. What do you think?
Well, we're going to show the original monologue at the end of our Jimmy portion of this segment, because I would like to have you contrast his body language, his posture, the way in which he is positioning himself to the camera, speaking directly to the camera, which is really to all of us. I don't believe he's contrite because he has not issued a full apology. In today's culture, what passes for an apology is full of qualifiers. I am sorry if you misunderstood my intention, which was perhaps at odds with the very thing I did or said. That is not an apology. That's a qualified sorry that you, the offended, got it wrong. And what I found interesting about that initial segment, and we're going to play another part of that apology, is when he gets into what I believe is his dissembling, he begins to, his eyes move away from center camera off to the side. So he's no longer addressing American audiences at home. He's over here. And his hand is now above his chest line, which, according to the expert lie detector Phil Holloway in Spy the Lie, anytime gestures begin up here, it's a sign of dissembling, if not outright lying.
Well, look, here's what I'd say about that. When gestures come high, they tend to be more passionate, and they will look more passionate, and they will look less authentic. Now, again, no body language analyst is a mind reader. In order to work out what somebody's actually thinking and feeling, you have to hear what they're saying and put it alongside what body language they're using. Yeah,
exactly.
Now, what you've just done there is exactly to do that, which is, you know, in your mind, what he's saying doesn't match what he's doing. And I think you're right about that, in that there is a disconnect between what he's saying and what he's doing, in a way that the two things are not disconnected in the original monologue. So there's a whole bunch of confidence in the original monologue and way less confidence in this apology. Now, is it
Mark? Would you explain to the audience exactly why it is that gestures above the chest plate sort of it connote perhaps deception?
Yeah. Well, look, there is no one gesture that denotes deception.
Right.
Okay. That's just not a thing. Okay.
It could possibly be taken with the host of other behaviors.
Yeah. When put in a cluster, it could be that. Here's what we know is that if my hands come to chest height and I try and give you facts and figures and the truth, you're less likely to believe them as being accurate. You're more likely to believe them as being exaggerated, because when hands come higher, heart rate, breathing rate, blood pressure go up.
Wow.
Yeah, you know that, and you mirror that in your own mind, and you go, Mark is excited, therefore his facts and figures are excited. The truth is excited. It's maybe not truthful, but passionate. If my hands are down at navel height here, you're more likely to feel like I'm being honest and truthful with you. Now, does that mean I'm being honest and truthful with you? No, not at all, because I can perform these things. So a good performer can convince you more of the truth while being dishonest. And a bad
So we're
performer,
perhaps leveling what could be the worst insult one could level at Jimmy Kimmel. Maybe he's not that great a performer.
Well, maybe.
Let's take a look at the second part of this, and then have you get back into it on the other side.
For those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't.
What do you make of those gestures, the positioning of his body in front of the camera? At the beginning, again, he's off center. He's not looking at the audience at home. And he's got a lot of gestures that seem to indicate we're making a mess of things. We're trying to clean it up.
Yeah, so he could be looking at the image of himself and checking out that his image is coming across right. He could be looking at written boards, which are telling him what to say next. Like every now and again, you'll see my eye contact go across to here because it goes to watch your reaction to what I'm saying, because I'm looking right down a camera lens right now, and then my eyes go just off to the side to see your reaction to what I'm saying. So you wouldn't want to misjudge the body language happening there for emotion when it might be about the technicalities of the TV situation there. Here's what I would say about the body language. His hands do come down to what I call the truth plane here, which will look like, if you don't have a bias either way, it will look like to your instinct that he's being more honest. Now, if you've got a bias that he's a dishonest liar, you're not going to see any of that, okay? Because here's what you need to understand. Body language is more of a Rorschach test, an ink blot test on what you're thinking and feeling. You will project your thinking and feeling onto people's behaviors on the whole. You're not a good mind reader at all. Nobody is a really good body language reader. What it tends to be is a projection of their own impressions. Here's what I'd say as an analyst of this, not trying to read body language, but analyzing it. This is going to look more truthful to people. This will look more passionate. He was asymmetrical at one point. That will look more dishonest to people who are looking for dishonesty. This will look more honest for people who are looking for honesty. And this will look more dishonest up at chest height for people who are looking for dishonesty.
Well, I think, Mark, to your point, and we're going to look at his original, and we will see, I think, quite a different stance.
You're right.
In every single way. And we're going to hear a different sort of full-throatedness as opposed to this sort of hesitancy in the voice and the quivering and all of that. Body language, and you're an expert in this for a reason. You deal with Fortune 500 CEOs, prime ministers for a reason. There is an evolutionary adaptation. We look to find who is truthful in our cohort and who is not, because it is a matter of survival. It's a matter of who we elect. It's a matter of who we marry. It's all of these things. So yes, we may be bringing some of our own prejudice to it. Do I want to prove that Jimmy Kimmel is a liar? No. Do I think he is? Yeah, I do. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this and come back at it.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the
original
MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Yes. So, as you rightly say, radically different, okay? If we use this as the baseline, of this is his usual performance when he has a script, he's been over that script a number of times, he's happy about how it's written. We've now got the hands more what we'd call kind of squeezing the melon there. Okay, rather than when he's doing that apology, his hands go into more of a pleading mode, more of an upholding of something. He's holding something in between his hands here, and in the apology, he's going here with
supplicant.
Supplicant, exactly. So I would say he is looking in his apology to get approval around that. Okay, so he's looking for people to go, you know what, Jimmy, you're all right. We understand. All is forgiven. He's got a certain outcome. Whereas in the monologue, he's trying to get, a point across, a joke across, maybe a political point across. Again, depending on your viewpoint. And to your point of for survival, we're always looking for the truth. For survival, we're always trying as well to support the liars who are part of our group. Lying is an important social skill. Accepting lies is an important social skill. Accepting the lies of the people who hold resource within your group is an important social skill. So all of this is social. If you don't feel yourself part of Jimmy's group, you're not going to support his lying. If you do find yourself part of Jimmy's group, you will support his lying, and vice versa.
I take that to a point, Mark. I will take that to a point. But what really, aside from the gestures or the position of the body, the eye contact, whatever, verbally, what strikes me is he said that thing that we all just watched and saw, and then 6-7 nights later, having had plenty of time to rehearse this most consequential address to the nation, he qualified it and blamed anybody else who didn't understand his, that is the issue. I think to me, this transcends politics. This is You said it. Now you're saying you didn't say it. Don't gaslight us. We've got it on tape. Do you trust the seafood you bring into your home? Do you question the nutrition levels, the taste, or the sustainability? Well, have you tried Wild Alaskan Company? I have, and I love them. Wild Alaskan is the best way to get wild-caught, perfectly portioned, nutrient-dense seafood delivered directly to your door. It comes frozen, you defrost it in the fridge, and then you have your perfectly fresh fish, 100% wild caught, never farmed. And that means there are no antibiotics, GMOs, or additives, just clean, real fish that supports healthy oceans and fishing communities. Wild Alaskan fish is frozen off the boat to lock in taste, texture, and nutrients. Wild Alaskan is sustainably sourced and wild caught from Alaska, and your membership delivers flexible shipments, expert tips, and truly feel good seafood. My favorites, sockeye salmon, Pacific cod. You can try it risk-free with a 100% money-back guarantee. Not all fish is the same. Get seafood you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/nerve for $35 off your first box of premium wild-caught seafood. That's wildalaskan.com/nerve for $35 off your first order. Thanks to Wild Alaskan Company for sponsoring this episode.